What if your entire belief system turns out to be an illusion? What if the reality you perceive is nothing more than a reflection of your consciousness? The KYBALION is not a simple text, but a mirror, a code, a dimensional gateway. Its manifestation in your current path is not a coincidence, but rather a precise indicator of your readiness to transcend the veils of perceptual deception. The revelations contained here were not conceived for minds that operate in automatic mode, but for those who already intuit the existence of a higher order behind the apparent fabric of reality. As you continue listening, you will understand how the human mind, like metals in the alchemical tradition, can be subjected to transmutation, changing state, degree, condition, polarity, and vibrational frequency. Authentic Hermetic practice is configured as a supreme mental art. Every cognitive process constitutes a sowing act, although this truth has been systematically hidden. You have been instructed to observe the external terrain, the physical effort, the manifest action, yet true cultivation is not done by the hands, but through the mind. Every reiterated thought, every emotionally charged mental image, every self-referential statement represents a seed thrown into the quantum field, whose harvest is mathematically inevitable. The paradox lies in the fact that almost no one exercises conscious vigilance over what they cultivate in their inner soil. If these initial words have aroused an inner resonance in you, express your appreciation immediately. This gesture transcends mere statistics. It constitutes a mutual recognition. I will then understand that you belong to those who see beyond appearances, who perceive the truth vibrating in the linguistic substrate. That simple act will become your coded signal. Yes, I have the necessary preparation. You are aware of it. I will have confirmation of it. We live in an age of information overload and lack of awareness. People spend hours in front of screens absorbing news, videos, opinions, judgments, images they never asked to see. And they don't realize that all of this is shaping the vibrational field that fuels their manifestations. What enters through your eyes and ears sooner or later becomes thought, and what becomes thought becomes form. That's why KYBALION is not just about spiritual laws, it's about vibrational responsibility. If you don't take care of the hygiene of your mind, it becomes a breeding ground for all kinds of seeds, including those that sabotage your life. Think about it. You take care of your teeth, your physical hygiene, your food. But how many times a day do you observe your thoughts? How many times do you ask yourself, does this thought make me stronger or weaker? Does this feeling align me with what I want or distance me from it? Most people live with their minds wide open like an unlocked door. Anyone can enter, any idea takes root, any fear becomes law. And the result is what we see every day, a fragmented, chaotic life, full of repetitive cycles that no one knows how to break. But the explanation is right there, in the invisible. Because your external reality is only the organized reflection of what is happening in your mind right now, not tomorrow, not next month, right now. Manifestation is not a magic trick, it is an ongoing process. The only difference is whether you are manifesting consciously or unconsciously. When you wake up complaining about the day, feeding your worries, connecting to fear, you are activating a frequency. And that frequency organizes matter, attracts situations, shapes experiences. On the other hand, when you direct your attention to what you want to experience with clarity, with intention, with presence, something begins to change. And it is not the world out there that changes first, it is you. And here is the crucial point. What you allow to dwell in your mind determines what you allow to manifest in your life. If you let any negative thought settle in as if it had a right, if you look at any content as if it were neutral, if you repeat phrases like, "My life is difficult, I never succeed, no one understands me," then there is no point in reciting positive affirmations afterwards, because your mind has already been conditioned by the frequency of chaos. There is no neutral space in the mental field. You are either clearing and aligning, or you are accumulating and distorting. It is no different than your physical body. If you spend a week eating only fat and sugar, your body will scream. It will show you symptoms. The same is true for the mind. Only those symptoms manifest in your reality. Difficult relationships, financial scarcity, lack of purpose, emotional illness. All this before being a problem with the world is the result of what you are mentally feeding. The mind as a sacred field of creation. If the universe were an invisible machine, your mind would be the control panel. It doesn't matter what you say you want. What matters is what is happening in the background, in the hidden gears of your daily thinking. The principle of mentalism states that everything is mind. But what does it really mean? That the reality you live in is not external. It is a response to what pulsates day after day inside your consciousness. You are not here just to think positive. You are here to learn to create with clarity, because every thought you allow, every idea you repeat, becomes a vibrational code that programs your destiny. What if I told you that most of your reality was created in silence without you even realizing it? Yes, when you don't direct your mind, it is governed by old patterns. Patterns that you inherited, that you were taught, that you absorbed as truth before you even knew what it meant to choose. You believed that the world was dangerous, that love hurt, that success had a very high price. And now guess what? Your reality continues to prove it, not because it is true, but because the mind needs confirmation of what it believes. And the universe, like a mirror, obeys. Mentalism is knowing this. And more than knowing this, it is taking the wheel. It is looking at your mental field and realizing, I am running a program that I did not write. So now is the time to reprogram. But here's a secret. You don't change a belief with a slogan. You change a belief with presence, because your mind is not stupid. It is not convinced by empty words, but is transformed when you bring to the surface what was unconscious and face it directly. Before you begin any project, stop, breathe, and ask yourself, what is the truth I carry within me about money, relationships, purpose, freedom? Write it all down. No filters, no spiritual sugarcoating, just observe. You will realize that much of what you desire is still tied to ideas like, it will be too hard, no one will support me, this is not for me, I don't have what it takes. These are your vibrational roots. And if you try to build something great on them, your manifestation will collapse because the foundation is compromised. You know that project you never seem to finish, that goal you keep putting off, that dream that keeps slipping out of your grasp. It's not bad luck, it's vibrational sabotage, and it's not coming from outside, it's coming from your own mind, from that part of you that still believes it's safer not to try than to risk failure. That's why the first step in manifestation is not doing, it's deprogramming. You have to make space. And making space means clearing out the excess noise that fills the sacred field of your consciousness. Recycled thoughts, inherited beliefs, stories that should have been cleared long ago. If you don't clear, you don't create. And if you don't create, you continue to live the same old reality, only now with more tiredness, more frustration, and less faith. Now listen carefully. Everything that exists was first mental. It is so real that entire civilizations were built from a single idea. Electricity, airplanes, the internet, medicine, it all started in the mind of someone who dared to imagine something that did not yet exist. The difference is that they believed it. Are you willing to believe in what is born inside you? The correspondence between the invisible and the visible. The mirror is you. Now imagine that everything you see around you, every detail of your life, is not just a coincidence. It is a reflection, a living mirror of what is vibrating inside you without you realizing it. We are not talking about beautiful metaphors. We are talking about the secret mechanics of the universe. As above, so below. As within, so without. This ancient Hermetic axiom is not here to be repeated like an empty mantra. It is a key, which only works when you have the courage to really look at yourself. If your outer world is in ruins, if everything seems out of place, if people treat you coldly, if opportunities vanish before they even arrive, perhaps the answer is not in the world. Perhaps it is in the state of your inner vibration. because everything visible carries the signature of the invisible. There is no point in changing jobs, cities, or relationships if you continue to carry the same vibrational field with you. Reality will repeat the pattern. It will dress the same pain in different clothes. Do you want to truly understand the principle of correspondence? Look around you right now. Everything you call life is a mirror of your daily energy. The way you organize your home, the tone of your voice when you are alone, the way you treat a stranger, the type of content you consume mindlessly. Each of these small choices carries a vibration, and the sum of those vibrations creates the atmosphere of your existence. And then comes the question that few have the courage to ask. What does your routine say about your inner world? When you fold your clothes, do you do it hastily, negligently, or with presence? When you make coffee, are you aware of what you are doing, or are you already in automatic mode thinking about the next problem? Because how you do the little things shows exactly how you deal with the big ones. The universe isn't impressed by promises, it responds to consistency. Self-knowledge, then, isn't about going on expensive retreats or memorizing holy books. It's about looking at yourself with radical honesty. How do you feel when you're alone? How do you react when someone ignores you? What thoughts do you allow to live in your mind before you sleep? All of this reveals where you are truly vibrating, and there is no need to pretend. The universe doesn't hear your words, it hears your frequency. And perhaps the hardest thing to accept is this: the world is not against you, it is only reflecting you. If you continue to live cycles of abandonment, perhaps you are abandoning yourself. If you live in lack, perhaps you are fueling scarcity in your innermost thoughts. And until there is awareness of this, everything will continue to repeat itself, not as a punishment, but as a vibrational coherence. The correspondence principle is an invitation to the mirror. It forces you to stop pointing outward and start investigating what is within. And that can hurt. It can be uncomfortable to admit that much of what is outside is your responsibility, but it is also liberating, because if you created it, you can dissolve it and recreate it. Manifestation doesn't start with fancy rituals, it starts with how you live in the now. Fold your clothes as if you were organizing your energy field. Make coffee as if you were invoking presence. Breathe as if you were blessing the moment. Because consciousness doesn't activate in grand revelations. It insinuates itself into your daily life and transforms the ordinary into the sacred. How to reprogram reality through polarity control. And when you begin to notice the reflections of your consciousness in the world around you, an inevitable question arises. How do I change what influences me? How do I free myself from the mental and emotional states that have trapped me for years? KYBALION answers with an often misunderstood key: polarity. He says that everything is dual, that everything carries within itself its opposite, but these opposites are not separate. They are two ends of the same thing, connected by the same axis. It is like a thermometer. Cold and hot are on the same scale. What changes is the degree. Now think of this applied to your emotional life. Love and hate, courage and fear, joy and sadness. They are not different substances. They are just different intensities of the same energy. This changes everything, because if you understand that you are only at one extreme, you can start moving, even slowly, toward the other. This is vibrational transmutation, and this is what the principle of polarity teaches. You don't have to wait for fear to disappear to act with courage. You just have to take a step in the direction of the opposite frequency. A small step like breathing more deeply, speaking more firmly, maintaining eye contact instead of looking away. Small gestures already begin to shift your position on the vibrational axis, because every emotion is movement. And if you move with intention, you reprogram. But be careful, this has nothing to do with repressing what you feel. It is not about pretending to be okay when inside you are falling apart. The alchemy begins when you recognize where you are. When you look at the fear and say, I see you, but I don't have to sink into you. I can choose a different response. Awareness doesn't erase emotion, it transforms it. Imagine your mind as a console full of knobs. Each knob controls an emotional frequency, Anger, gratitude, discouragement, compassion. You can't turn off all the knobs, but you can choose which one to turn up. When you wake up on a difficult day and still decide to get up, take a mindful shower, and organize your space with intention, you are adjusting the frequency knob. You are polarizing your consciousness. And this is not a banal self-help. It is Hermetic practice. It is how the initiates trained in emotional mastery. Not to repress emotions, but to not be swept away by them like leaves in the wind. Because the world will continue to try to drag you to extremes. It will provoke you. It will push the deepest buttons of your subconscious. But when you know you can move between the poles, you stop reacting automatically. You start choosing. Want to escape scarcity? Start by practicing small acts of generosity. Want to escape loneliness? Start by offering presents to others, even when it seems no one notices. Want to break free from paralysis? Start moving, even if it's slow. The universe doesn't demand perfection. It responds to vibrational intention, the invisible rhythm that governs your life. And as you learn to move between the poles of emotion, another, even deeper movement begins to take hold. One that sweeps you along without you even realizing it. It is rhythm, the natural oscillation of all that exists. Tides, seasons, moon phases, mood cycles, the ups and downs of life. Nothing escapes the principle of rhythm. And the most dangerous part is when you don't recognize it. Because when you ignore that you are inside a wave, it is the wave that swallows you. Have you ever noticed how a day full of enthusiasm can be followed by a day of exhaustion? How a phase of success can be followed by an inexplicable emptiness? It is not bad luck or punishment. It is the invisible pendulum of life swinging. The KYBALION. The more intense the momentum on one side, the more intense the compensation on the other. That is why extremes are always risky. Every uncontrolled euphoria brings with it an emotional hangover. Every obsession creates a vacuum, but there is a way out. And it is not in avoiding the oscillation. It is in not being overwhelmed by it. This is what the ancients called neutralization. A state of presence that places you above the oscillating movement of matter and emotion. It is like being in the eye of the cyclone. The wind swirls, the storm howls, but there, in the center, everything is silent. That is the place you need to find inside yourself. Here is a simple but powerful metaphor. Two children fight over a toy. They scream, they pull, they cry, because they both want the same thing. An adult comes into the room, looks at them, smiles and says, "Put that aside. Let's play something else." Why does he manage to calm the situation? Because he doesn't want the toy anymore. He's not involved in the fight, he's above it. The same goes for your internal dramas. If you're still hurting about something, it's because a part of you is still attached to the toy. It could be pride, control, approval, status, or a story you refuse to give up. Maybe it's that resentment you silently harbor because it gives you identity. Maybe it's an ideal of perfection that keeps you from accepting your own humanity. Whatever it is, suffering persists as long as there is attachment. But what if you simply let go? It's not easy because that emotional toy is sometimes all you've ever known. Letting go may seem like a loss, but it's actually the opposite. Letting go is the only way out of the cycle. When you give up the fight, you don't lose, you free yourself. Neutralizing isn't about being cold, it's about being clear. It's knowing that the ups and downs will come, but you can stay centered. It's trusting that the tide will rise and fall, but you'll still be here, grounded, aware, whole. This practice requires attention. In moments of anger, choose silence. In moments of impulse, breathe. In moments of confusion, stop trying to figure it all out. Just be. Because the more you practice neutralization, the higher you go vibrationally. And the higher you are, the less the external movement affects you. This is the invisible dance of life, and you don't have to be carried away by it. You can be the dancer, the observer, the one who does not deny the movement, but does not get lost in it. Vibration. You are what you resonate. Everything vibrates. This is one of the most ancient and revolutionary truths of Hermeticism. It does not matter if it is stone, thought, or sound. Everything is in movement. Life is a symphony of frequencies. But have you ever wondered what is resonating inside you? The law of vibration, as taught in KYBALION, goes far beyond most people's superficial understanding of reality. It is not just about thinking positive or feeling good. It reveals that everything you attract is compatible with the vibration you hold. This explains why the law of attraction, so popularized in books and movies, often seems to fail those who try to use it. The secret is not in wanting intensely. It is in vibrating in tune with what you want. Let's be honest. You can say 1,000 times that you want abundance, but if deep down you are vibrating scarcity, fear, and doubt, the universe will respond to that. The universe does not hear what you say, it hears what you are. And this ties directly into the teachings of Neville Goddard and the so-called law of assumption. You don't manifest what you want, you manifest what you assume to be true. If you assume with conviction that you are a successful person even before reality shows it, you change your frequency. And frequency always comes before form. The law of vibration is the invisible infrastructure of reality. Everything is energy at different speeds. Fear, anger, gratitude, love. They all have a vibrational tone. And your body, mind, and soul are always vibrating. The question is, are you aware of it? Do you know what you are emitting right now? Listen carefully to this short story. It is said that in a distant village there lived an old bell ringer named Eliam. Every morning at dawn, he went to the tower and rang an ancient bell made of a special metal that vibrated differently depending on the intention of the person ringing it. One day, Eliam fell ill and asked his grandson, a boy named Micah, to ring the bell for him. Micah excitedly went up, grabbed the clapper, and rang. The sound was off-key, unpleasant, almost painful. The village, accustomed to the harmonious morning chime, became agitated. The next day, Micah tried again. Nothing changed. Frustrated, he went downstairs and asked his grandfather what he was doing wrong. Eliam replied, "The bell does not respond to the strength of your arm, but to the vibration of your heart. When you ring it in a hurry, afraid of making a mistake, it only echoes what you are feeling. But when you align yourself with the sound you want to hear, it echoes it to the world." On the third day, Micah went up alone, took a deep breath, remembered the joy he felt when he heard the bell as a child, and rang. And the sound came out pure, strong, serene. The village stopped, and for the first time the boy understood. He wasn't just ringing the bell, he was vibrating through it. This tale sums up the essence of the law of vibration. Everything you touch, everything you manifest is an echo of your frequency. That's why, before you try to change the world out there, look at what you're tuning into in here. In practice, this means cultivating emotional awareness, paying attention to what causes you to contract or expand, feeding your field with words that support what you want to experience, being silent more often, reacting less. It's not about repressing feelings, but tuning them. The law of vibration is the very heart of manifestation, and when you learn to listen to it, your reality doesn't just change. It finally starts to sound like the melody you always knew existed, but didn't know how to play. Causality. You are already the creator of your reality. You just haven't owned it yet. If you've gotten this far, you've already understood that nothing in the universe is random. Life isn't rolling dice at you. Nothing that happens is out of order. Although it may seem unfair or chaotic at first, everything follows a sequence. Every action, visible or invisible, generates a reaction. But what few understand is that most of the causes are not in the external world. They are in you, and not only in your conscious actions, but in what you repeat silently. In the micro decisions you make without realizing it, in the tone of voice you use to respond to others, in what you think before you fall asleep, in what you believe when no one is looking. Causality is not punishment. It is a constant reminder that you are already creating your reality every moment. But if you don't do it consciously, you will end up experiencing the effects of ungoverned creation. Like a gardener who plants seeds at random and then marvels at the jungle that grows around him, the cause always comes first, the effect always comes later. But since most people live in automatic mode, they think that the effects are accidents. They are not. Let's stop and look at a simple example. You are living an ordinary day. You wake up late. You forget to be grateful. You leave the house grumbling. In traffic, you yell at someone. You arrive at work irritated. You answer someone rudely without meaning to. You eat something in a hurry. And at the end of the day, you say, "Today everything went wrong." But did everything really go wrong, or was it just the effect of the causes you have been feeding from the moment you opened your eyes? Now look at the other side. You wake up and take a deep breath. Just that. You say thank you even for no particular reason. You choose to dress with more presence. You choose a song that calms you. You walk calmly to the coffee shop. You greet someone with a sincere "good morning." It doesn't seem like much, but each of those gestures is a seed. You are planting a different tomorrow right now, and even if that tomorrow doesn't change everything right away, it will accumulate vibration like a new frequency that slowly takes root. Want a different future? Look at how you are treating the now. It is the only place where the cause can be planted consciously. The most misunderstood principle. Gender is not about biology. It is about creating reality. Now that you have understood that you are the creator of your reality, there is one last key to truly unlocking that power. The principle of gender. And no, it has nothing to do with man or woman. This is a superficial interpretation that has prevented many people from accessing the essence of this teaching. KYBALION teaches that all things in the universe contain two complementary principles, the male and the female, not as bodies, but as subtle forces that operate in everything. Feminine energy is about conceiving, feeling, receiving. Masculine energy is about impulse, direction, execution, and only when these two energies are in harmony within you can something new truly manifest. See how this applies to real life. When you feel a desire, an inspiration, something that vibrates inside you as truth, it is the feminine at work. It is reception, intuition, fertile ground. But if you stop there, thinking that the universe will deliver everything to you because you dreamed big, it will not happen. Manifestation requires the other pole, the masculine. You have to give form to the invisible. And this happens when you start to structure your routine, change your habits, make decisions aligned with what you want to grow. This is the action part, and the opposite is also true. Many people live in the other imbalance. They act too much, they force things, they try to control everything, they exhaust themselves, but without connection to their feelings, without knowing if what they are doing has soul, has truth, if it vibrates with what they really want. That rigidity leads to frustration because creation only happens where there is room for the invisible to move. That's why manifesting isn't just positive thinking. It's combining deep desire with aligned action. It's dreaming with your eyes closed and acting with your feet firmly planted on the ground. It's fertilizing reality with your entire being. When you feel and act in harmony, things flow, opportunities present themselves, encounters happen, life responds. Because the universe doesn't just react to what you want, it responds to what you radiate. And that's the sum of what you feel and what you do. That's the alchemy of gender, generating new realities through the sacred union of the two forces that live inside you. Now take a breath, because if you've come this far, something inside you has already started to change. But let me tell you something important. None of this matters if you just understand it. KYBALION was not written to be interpreted as a technical book. It is a vibrational text, a code that reveals itself only to those who are willing to live what they read. It is not a manual, it is a mirror. And it will continue to show you hidden parts of yourself every time you return to it with fresh eyes. The 7 principles are not a checklist, they are a way of being. They are alive in your thoughts right now. in the way you breathe, respond, organize your day. They are in how you handle anger, doubt, fear, and love. They are in your presence, and living them doesn't mean being perfect, it means being awake. Mentalism reminds you that everything begins in the mind. Correspondence shows you that everything is connected. Vibration reveals that you are always emitting something. Polarity teaches you to move between emotions without getting stuck in them. Rhythm helps you stop fighting cycles and start flowing with them. Causality gives you back the power of responsibility. And gender finally teaches you that creating requires balance. And maybe that's why this video found you now. Because this is your chance, not to understand the world, but to finally change yours. Your presence at this final stage attests to an inner recognition of the truth contained in these words. I therefore wish to express gratitude for your attentive participation, for your deep listening, and for having allowed this message to resonate in your sphere of consciousness. However, before the farewell, an essential opportunity awaits you. If this path has left a tangible mark on your mind or heart, show your appreciation. This gesture represents the most immediate and effective way to express support for the continuation of this exploration. Share in the comments your personal reflection on the cognitive mirror represented by the KYBALION. And if you feel an actual resonance with these vibrational frequencies, formalize your adhesion now. Each subsequent contribution will constitute a further advancement along this path of awareness. I wish you intellectual acumen, inner vigor, and clarity of vision. May your every action embody perfect coherence with your most authentic essence. We will soon meet again in that metaphysical space where words, rather than describing, simply vibrate. May your every breath become a conscious creative act, waiting for the next attunement.